Welcome to the North Ridgeville City Schools Board of Education meeting. It is January 16th, 2018 at 6 p.m. I'd like to call this meeting to order, and if you could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Merlingo, roll call, please.
Yelsey?
Here.
Mr. Carthy?
Here.
Ms. Saxon?
Here.
Mr. Muir?
Here.
Mr. Bachman? Here.
Finalization of agenda.
The agenda is perfect, I hope.
It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the video transcribed meeting minutes for December 19, 2017. Further, it is recommended that a written summary of the special and regular minutes for the meetings on December 5, 2017, December 6, 2017, and December 19, 2017 be approved.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Tamira, second by Mrs. Saxon. It's a new year and I forgot all you guys' names. Everyone's sitting in a different spot. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Tamira? Ms. Saxon?
Yes.
Ms. Yelsey?
Yes.
Mr. Bachman? Yes. Ms. McCarthy?
Yes. That takes us to staff and student community recognition.
Thank you, Madam President. We'll start with board member recognition. This is January's board recognition month, and Ohio School Board Association always recognizes our board members, and we would like to recognize them as well. They send us a plaque and our certificate when we give that to you. So our board members work really hard. They it's a an elected, pretty much volunteer position, and we appreciate all the hard work and dedication that you guys put into our schools. So we'll start with Mrs. McCarthy, our president. So thank you for all your dedication to this.
Thank you.
Ms. Saxon, our vice president. Thank you. Ms. Tamira. Mr. Baca. Yes. Again, I'd like to thank them for their hard work and dedication to the district, and many more good years.
Thank you, Dr. At this time, we were going to move on to student recognition.
Hello everyone, my name is Mitch Heffron. I'm the principal of Liberty. However, Mrs. Vance is not able to attend today, so I am going to be representing the kindergarten building as well. And representing kindergarten from Miss Wagner's class is Sophia Burrs. Go ahead and wave, Sophia. Sophia was chosen as Student of the Month because of her Ranger strong behavior. She is always very respectful to her classmates and any teachers or adults that enter the classroom. She is a hard worker and shows perseverance whenever learning anything new. She always has a smile on her face, which brightens up everyone's mood throughout the school day. She is a wonderful friend who uses kind words and a lending hand when needed. It is a pleasure having Sophia in class. Great job, Sophia. Our next student of the month is from first grade at Liberty, Griffin Stipa. Go ahead and wave, Griffin. I was talking to Griffin, I said, Griffin, what has made you such an awesome student? And he said, it's because my mom and dad are so awesome. A little shout out for you guys. Mrs. Stipe is a teacher in my building, so I'm ad-libbing a little bit. Griffin was selected to be Student of the Month from Mrs. Sanfilippo, and here's what she has to say. Griffin has such a positive attitude in school. He is so helpful and kind to his peers. He always gives 110% every day. He is a reading rock star, and I am so proud to have him in class. Excellent job. Way to be Ranger strong, Griffin. My next Student of the Month is a second grader named Sophia as well, Cremens. She was not able to attend tonight because she has a soccer game. But Sophia was selected to be Student of the Month by Mrs. Sharp, and here's what she has to say. Sophia has always taken ownership of her work, and she's so proud to display it in front of her classmates and is always willing to help their classmates improve their work, and is always, always willing to give a kind word to her classmates as well. She is very conscientious and always gives her best effort and is a great citizen as well. Excellent job, Sophia. Thank you, guys. It is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Plantner.
Whatever works for you. There you go, one inch. Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. My name is Greg Plantner. For those of you that don't know me, I am the principal of NRAC Elementary School and very pleased and really honored to be so. I am joined today by two excellent students who were selected by our teachers as Students of the Month. We have here Michael Smolik and Kristen Carpenter, both from 4th grade, both from 4th grade. I'm going to start today with Kristen. She is a member of our Blue Studio. The teachers in our Blue Studio are Mrs. Bonus, Mrs. Giannetti, Mrs. Galoja, Mrs. Ives, Mrs. Marchand, and Mrs. Schaefer. So she has a whole team of teachers who really enjoy spending time with her each day, and this is what they had to say about Kristen. Kristen is always willing to help other students meet their goals in all areas. Kristen goes above and beyond in the classroom. Every day she comes prepared to work and learn. Her attitude shines as she's always smiling and happy to be at school. Kristen's always looking for extra to do, especially when it comes to helping the teacher. We thoroughly enjoy having Kristen in our studio, and I'm proud of the work she has done this year to meet her reading and her math goals. Congratulations, Kristen. And Michael joins us today from our Yellow Studio. Our Yellow Studio teachers are Mrs. Cusick, Mrs. Moog, Mrs. Nemitz, Ms. Rached, and Mrs. Tabar. And this is what they have to say about Michael. Michael is an excellent role model for his peers and displays Ranger strong qualities daily. He can always be found helping a friend in need and working well with others. He's extremely respectful to his classmates and teachers. Day in and day out, Michael never needs to be corrected in the classroom and displays great perseverance and dedication to his school. Keep up the great work, Michael. Congratulations. Next, we have Mrs. Armbruster and our 5th and 6th graders.
Hello, good evening. I'm so proud to be up here with our 6th graders for Student of the Month, and we have their teachers back there, Ms. Guscott, Ms. Maxlin, Ms. Bosser. Giving them a little wave. So tonight I'm really proud to present to Abby Janik from 6th grade Team Green, and we have John Schultz from Team Green. So both of ours from Team Green, Green Studio in the 6th grade. I'm going to start with Abby. The Green Studio teachers chose Abby Janik as Student of the Month. We would love to share an email that we received from Abby. The email read, Hi, Ms. Guscott. I was inspired by the Sandy Hook presentation, and I wanted to know how I could possibly create a club similar to that at our school. I have many ideas that I think could help our school in many different ways. For those of you that don't know, Sandy Hook, the Sandy Hook Promise Start with Hello program is something that we brought into the school here at the North Ridgeville Academic Center. It brings attention to the growing epidemic of social isolation in our schools and our communities, and empowers young people to create a culture of inclusion, connectedness within the school and other youth organizations. So she was really taken by that, and it was very impressed all of us very much. She was inspired by the representative that came to talk to our students. We were so proud of Abby for making her goal a reality by taking the initiative to start a group like this at our school. Social isolation is the overwhelming feeling of being left out, lonely, or treated like you are invisible. Young people who feel this way may pull away from society, struggle with learning and social development, or choose to hurt themselves or others. We are so proud of Abby for wanting to make a difference in the lives of students who might feel this way. Great job, Abby. You truly are Ranger Strong. And John, who's also in the Green Studio. John was selected as Student of the Month because of the hard work he is putting into his classroom every day. He comes to class ready to learn, is a great leader, and is always willing to participate, exhibiting all of the Ranger Strong attributes. John has shown good improvement in his skills already this school year and is meeting the expectations that were put into place for him. John is well on his way to a great academic career. Keep up the good work, John. Thank you both. I'm so proud of them. And now I'd like to introduce Mrs. Peck and the students from the middle school.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mrs. Peck, and I'm honored to be the principal of North Ridgeville Academic Center Middle School. I know that's a mouthful. We are going to recognize two of our amazing 8th graders tonight. We're going to start with Tyler Farr. Tyler exemplifies what it means to be Ranger Strong. His 8th grade Orange team of teachers, Miss Flynn, Mr. Kelly, Mr. Post, Mrs. Ray, and Mrs. Hine, have shared the following about Tyler. He is a dedicated student and a person who is a friend to all of his classmates. Tyler shows his commitment to his education by being on time every day, completing tasks with a smile on his face, and willingness and eagerness to participate and share his ideas. Without prompting, Tyler can be seen helping his classmates when in need of support. Tyler always exhibits polite and respectful behavior to his teachers and classmates. Tyler Farr is truly a pleasure to have in the Orange Studio, as well as at North Ridgeville Academic Center. Congratulations, Tyler. Our second student this month is Xiomara Iparaguare. I cannot roll my tongue the way she does when she says her R, so I'm doing the best I can with her last name. She's being honored as one of our January Students of the Month by her 8th grade teal team. Mrs. Conley, Mrs. Evans, Miss Brady, and Miss Marino shared that Xiomara has been a model student for many of her peers. She is a proud member of the National Junior Honor Society, and her hard work is noted on a daily basis. When discovering that there was a new student in another studio that speaks limited English, Xiomara offered to work with this student during her intervention in Ranger Strong time, since she is fluent in Spanish. She took the initiative to contact our English language learners teacher and offer her services in organizing a support group for both parents and families that are new to our country. Xiomara encompasses all of the Ranger Strong traits, and we all look forward to hearing about her successes in the future. Congratulations. Before I turn it over to Mr. Zendry from the high school, I just want to check. Is Susie from the American Cancer Society here? Okay, because we have a presentation for them, so we'll hold off. And then, I'm sorry, and not Mr. Zendry, Ms. Durkin from our Ranger High Tech Academy. Hi,
Hi, I'm Melissa Durkin. I'm the principal at Ranger High Tech Academy. I'm very excited to be here with two of our learners. We have Tate Love from 5th grade and we have Logan Martelin from 6th grade. Our focus for the month of January was goal setting. So we were looking at all of our learners to see who really represented the ability to set goals and achieve what they would like to achieve for themselves. So we have Tate, who was recommended by Coach Zavachin, and Coach Zavachin said, Tate plans ahead and sets goals for himself that are both challenging and achievable. He defines a clear plan of action and takes steps to achieve his goal while engaging in self-reflective evaluation of his own progress. Tate seeks opportunities to contribute positively to both our classroom and school community. He is a quintessential example of the Ranger Strong attribute of goal setting. So congratulations, Tate. Very good job. Thank you. And then Logan was nominated by Coach Jeffrey. And Coach Jeffrey says, Logan is an exemplar for Ranger Strong trait of goal setting. He always knows the direction in which he is headed and has a plan in mind that will help him reach his destination. When Logan encounters bumps in the road, he reevaluates his path and finds a way to continue moving forward. Logan is always willing to lend a helping hand to help others achieve their goals as well. So great job, Logan and Tate. Thank you. I would like to introduce Mr. Zendry from the high school.
Thank you. Before we get started, I'd like to thank every one of the students of the month gets a certificate from Big Frog Custom T-shirts. And so every student of the month will get a certificate for a free T-shirt. And so I'd just like to thank Big Frog. So we appreciate that. I'm going to talk about 3 students of the month because Bailey, who's in the middle, could not be here in December. So Bailey was actually from the December student of the month. And I'd like to tell you, at the high school, what we do is we look for someone who's gone above and beyond in some area. So these are all really good students, but they're not like just here because they're good students. They've all done something. So Bailey was nominated by Mrs. Carlo. Mrs. Carlo teaches in the intensive needs classroom, and she said, I do not teach her, but for the past 4 years, she has been a student aide in the intensive needs classroom. She is absolutely wonderful with the students. She is so kind and treats them with respect and dignity. She works with the students on their assignments every day and comes in first period despite the fact that she has senior privileges. So what that means is instead of coming in at 8, she could come in at like almost 9, but she comes in early to work with these kids. She would like to be a special education teacher after high school and would be amazing at it. And so Bailey's a senior. Her favorite class is English. We all know already she wants to be an intervention specialist when she grows up. But she's involved in some activities in the bowling team. She plays softball in the summer. She works at Drug Mart. And she's also involved in the T program, which is a program where high school students get to spend time in actual classrooms and work with kids. So in addition to what she does in her volunteer time, she's also spending time in classrooms throughout North Ridgeville. So congratulations, Bailey, 12th grade student of the month. Directly to my right is Julia Kelly. Julia is a sophomore, and she was nominated by Mrs. Valaire, who's a science teacher. But she nominated Julia because she's done a great job in fundraising for 2 causes. She is on the class of 2020 prom committee, and she is also working on raising money for a service trip to the Dominican Republic. She works outside of school to pay for the trip, and in all of the students that are raising money for prom, she is the one that has done the most fundraising than any of her peers. She's also sold more candy bars than anybody else. She said she always comes to class with a smile and is an overall pleasant person to be around. Julia is, like I said, in 10th grade. Her favorite class is art. She wants to work with children as a therapist when she grows up, and the activities she's involved with are the prom committee and the service trip to the Dominican Republic. So congratulations, Julia. Our final nominee our final student of the month is Sufyan Khalil. Sufyan's all the way to my right, the farthest right. He was nominated by Mrs. McQuality, who's his Spanish teacher. Sufyan's in 10th grade, and she said, I would like to nominate Sufyan because he is a student who's always in a good mood and has a contagious attitude that makes others around him in a good mood too. He is hardworking and always willing to help others. He is the student who consistently volunteers and always raises his hand and answers questions in class when no one else is willing to talk. He's a wonderful kid and an asset to Spanish class. Sufyan's in 10th grade. His favorite class is Spanish, and when he grows up, he's not sure, but he's thinking about becoming a teacher. So congratulations, Sufyan Khalil.
Congratulations to all of our students. And before we leave our community recognition is Miss Susie Fisker. She is here. So I want to do a presentation for the American Cancer Society. Come on up, Miss Fisker.
All right. It is my pleasure to share with you that for the last several years, North Ridgeville Middle School has done a fundraiser called Costumes for the Cure. And we've done that fundraiser to raise money for the American Cancer Society. This year, we had a much larger effort put in place by North Ridgeville Academic Center. 5th through 8th grade participated, and they were able to dress up in costume for a donation to the American Cancer Society, and our 3rd and 4th graders were also able to provide a donation if they chose to do so. So for this year, we raised the largest amount yet, $1,470 for the American Cancer Society. The reason that this cause is so dear to our hearts is because it's hard pressed that you find anyone who has not been touched at some point or another through family members or friends that have had cancer. So that is why we chose to put our efforts toward this cause. So it is my pleasure, Susie, to offer you our donation of $1,470 for the American Cancer Society for the research and support you provide to those who are going through treatment for cancer.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome.
First off, I apologize for being late. I was stuck on I-71 for over an hour.
We're glad you made it.
So thank you for having me. I had some things that I wanted to say, but because I know that you guys are on a time schedule, I just want to say thank you. I really appreciate the time and effort that you guys put into this. You know, you guys literally doubled what you guys did last year, so that is just utterly amazing. You know, this is our future right here, everybody. You know, and these kids right here are going to be the ones that will be helping us, you know, get through this. A couple things I did want to share is, you know, the money that's raised does go to research. It does go to a lot of our services and programs that we have. And if anybody ever needs any kind of help, there are 2 resources for you that you can remember right now without having to write it down or anything like that. And it's our website, which is cancer.org. Real super simple. If you have any questions, it's available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you just need some answers, go right on there and check it out. The other thing is I always say, you know, put a little hope into your cell phone. And I say put in our 800 number. If you can remember, 800 is a toll-free number. ACS is American Cancer Society, and if you can count 2, 3, 4, 5, that is our national number that you can also use 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Just anybody has any questions about our programs or services or anything about American Cancer Society or even a way to volunteer. So, so if you could just maybe take your cell phone out and just put, you know, hope, and just put in the 800 ACS 2345. You'll never know who you might run into that says, you know, I just found out my grandmother has cancer and I don't know what to do. that's okay. I have some hope for you. Here's the 800 number. Call them, and they'll be able to help you out. So, so that's pretty much it. I just wanted to make sure you guys knew the resources, because those things like that, the money that is raised does help us keep that, call center open and helps our patients. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate it very, very much.
Thank you.
Very good. Congratulations again to all of our students of the month. We are very impressed and so very proud of you. We want to thank our teachers for taking the time to recognize their students and their contributions to your classroom. And as always, thanking our administrators for being here to recognize them. Also, kudos to our Academic Center for that wonderful donation to the American Cancer Society. And Susie, thank you for being here to accept that. At this time, we'll take a short intermission so we can get some pictures of our outstanding students. We are at hearing of the consent agenda items. Anybody would like to speak on an item that is currently on the agenda? You may approach the podium and do so now. They want to speak. Thank you, Sam. All right, we'll move on to committee reports. Policy Committee?
Thank you, Madam President. Policy Committee, we're at our second reading and adoption of board policies. It's recommended that the Board of Education approve the second reading and adoption of the new and revised board policies listed below. And this is for our November 2017 OSBA.
Moved by Mr. Vaca. Second by Ms. Tamira. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Vaca. Yes. Ms. Tamira.
Yes.
Ms. Yetsey.
Yes.
Ms. Saxon.
Yes.
Ms.
Yes. Takes us to superintendent's report.
Thank you. It's recommended that the Board of Education approve the consent agenda resolution as presented below. And going through that quickly, it starts with employment recommendations. Starting with certified substitutes. Again, we're always working on subs for the district. Supplemental contracts, recommended that the Board of Education award a supplemental contract to the individual listed below for the Director of Bands. Special project stipend is recommended that the Board of Education award special project stipends to the individuals listed below, and that's for our Technology Committee. And 10 hours at $25 per hour. Takes us over to page 6. Support staff substitutes. That's there's one support staff substitute appointment listed below. Number 2, leaves of absence. We start with certified staff. It's recommended that the Board of Education approve the certified staff leave of absence listed below. Support staff. It's recommended that the Board of Education approve the support staff leave of absence listed below. Number 3, adjustments. Certified staff, is recommended that the Board of Education approve the certified staff adjustments listed below. Most of those are for education, as you will see. That takes us over to resignations on the middle of page 7. Healthcare associates, it is recommended that the Board of Education accept the healthcare associate resignation listed below. And that relates to the adjustment that's on the front on the page 6 for the healthcare associate. See that? So that leaves a .5 open there. B is recommended that the Board of Education accept the support staff resignations listed below, and there are 3 of those. C, certified substitute, is recommended that the Board of Education accept the certified sub resignations listed below. There's one of those. Takes us to page 8, reassignment of equipment. It is recommended that the Board of Education would reassign the following obsolete, unusable equipment to an idle capacity. The equipment will be used for spare parts, may be resold or removed for disposal. And there are, I think, 3 pages, 2 pages, and then that takes us over to page 10 for the action.
Moved by Mrs. Tamira, seconded by Mr. Vaca. Sorry, I'm trying to turn pages. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Tamira?
Yes.
Mr. Vaca?
Yes.
Ms. Yetsey?
Yes.
Ms. Saxon?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
That takes us to employment. Part B. It is recommended that the Board of Education approve the support staff appointments listed below. One is for a 6-hour bus driver for the transportation department, and then one is for a 5-hour paraprofessional, and that's a replacement position.
Second.
Moved by Mrs. Tamira, seconded by Ms. Yetsey. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Tamira?
Yes.
Ms. Yetsey?
Yes.
Ms. Saxon?
Yes.
Mr. Vaca?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Madam President, that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Dr. Powell. Mr. Berlingo, treasurer's report.
Okay, first is the financial report and report of interest on investments. Recommended the Board of Education approve the financial report and report of interest on investments for December of 2017.
Moved by Ms. Saxon, seconded by Mr. Vaca. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Saxon?
Yes.
Mr. Vaca?
Yes.
Ms. Yetsey?
Yes.
Ms. Tamira?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes.
Second is a return of advance and transfer of funds. It is recommended the Board of Education approve the return of advance and transfer of funds from the accounts listed below. This is cleanup of some old activity that's been on the books since 2013 and 2015.
Moved.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Saxon, seconded by Ms. Tamira. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Saxon?
Yes.
Ms. Tamira?
Yes.
Ms. Yetsey?
Yes.
Mr. Vaca? Yes. Ms. McCarthy?
Yes. That takes us to old business discussion items.
These are two items here that were left over from before the bond refinancing. Mr. Berlingo's talked about that several times, and last time we were talking about sending out a communications. So I didn't know if you guys wanted to give an update on that.
Well, we did send out notice to the press. I've been contacted by 2 newspapers, one who then forwarded a list of questions, which I answered today. So I would expect to see something in the newspaper
It was.
very shortly.
It was in the Morning Journal.
Was it
Last Wednesday.
Morning Journal? But,
On the 10th.
And then the North Ridgeville Press. There should be something within the next day or 2.
Very good. Thank you.
Title I funding, I'm sorry. Each year, at the beginning of the year, we get our Title I funds and an allocation, and sometimes they go through and change that allocation. This year, we got our allocation, and we have to submit the CCIP was the plan of how we will expend those funds. So we did that, and then later we found out we got more funds. They gave us additional funds. Wasn't a lot of money, Mr. Pritt, how much?
The difference in here was about $30,000.
About $30,000.
So our initial cost over last year was down about $80,000,
Mhm.
and then they gave us back $30,000.
So the district had to figure out how to utilize those funds for the kinds of services we typically use for the Title I funds for, and are allowed to use the Title I funds for. So Mr. Pritt has been planning, we're going to be using those funds for a tutor for reading. I don't know, Mr. Pritt, if you want to get more information about that.
Yeah, so we posted, the spot that we're looking for is over at Liberty. So we utilize our Title I funds for grades K through 2. If we look at how we are currently staffed in kindergarten, we've got 2 people covering kindergarten. And then when you look at Liberty, they've got 3 people in total servicing 2 different grade levels. So we're looking to take and add a person through the end of this school year to use up those funds. We've posted, Mr. Heffern has actually scheduled some interviews already. We've got about a half dozen of those scheduled for tomorrow.
So that's a good and bad thing. The good about it is the service that we'll be providing to students. The not so good, I guess, that it's bad because someone does have a good job working for a while. But we never know from year to year what our Title I funds will be, so that has to be a temporary position. So that's the bad part about it until we find out what the funding will be again next year. So. Any questions? New business, I put the Calamity Day makeup on here for new business. We've been getting a lot of questions. We did post an informational piece on the website for people to read. The Calamity Days, the way the state requires us to keep track of days now has changed. So now we have to put in so many hours per year for students. We are okay as far as student days are concerned, and that really we would have several more Calamity Days in relationship to that if we wanted to. But in our teacher negotiated agreement, the contract states that above 5 days, we will make those up with students, and that will be mutually agreed upon with the association, the teacher association. So we need to really wait a little longer and see exactly how many days, what the makeup is going to be, the number of days, and so forth, to try to put a plan together. So I don't foresee a real plan until we get closer to the end of February. We have a better idea. Do we have 1 day, 7 days, 3 days, 10 days? So then we'll know better and be able to put together a plan. So as we approach next month and go through next month, we'll be keeping an eye on that and try to put some good thought into how we'll do that. So, any questions about that? Does that all make sense? Good.
Any other new business? I do want to mention, and I apologize for not adding it earlier under new business, a fundraiser for the Board of Education scholarship. I'd also like to propose to my fellow board members that we each contribute to the scholarship in the amount. I'd like to propose that we each provide $100 as a minimum to our board scholarship fund. The reason I'm proposing that is because in the past we have not, as a board, have not been paid for our 3 meetings in January. And although we are entitled to be paid for those 3 meetings, so going forward, the board will be paid for 3 meetings in January, and I'd like to suggest that we use part of that payment and contribute it back to our scholarship fund that we provide for high school seniors. And then there's also an opportunity for us to possibly do a pop socket fundraiser. We're getting some information from NACO about that to raise money for our scholarship, because currently our scholarship is in the red. So we need to do something to make it better.
Do we have any things or anything planned?
Not as a
And Aaron never told me that.
We're in the red though. Didn't we do a Fiesta fundraiser?
We did.
We did. There was minimal
Oh,
receipts on it.
okay.
How much on a scholarship?
Well, whatever we have. We'd like it to be $500 more.
It's been 2 $500 scholarships, one for a student that's going into education and one for a student that is going into trades. Any other questions about that? Any additional business this evening, announcements? Hearing of the public on new items, if anyone has anything to discuss, it's not on the agenda. Seeing none. It is recommended the Board of Education enter an executive session to review negotiations or bargaining session with employees concerning compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment. Moved by Mrs. Tamira, second by Mr. Vaca. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Ms. Bueller?
Yes.
Mr. Vaca? Ms. Yetsey?
Yes.
Ms. Saxon?
Yes.
Ms. McCarthy?
Yes. All right, thank you, everyone. Have a good evening.